Welcome back to the shed. We're now going to try and fit this thing into the car. So that's today's mission, is to actually put this big large lump of thing into the vehicle, well right there, which is right there. So I'm going to put this thing in there. Once I've got it bolted in, or at least know I can bolt it in, then I'll go towards running the tails out from the controllers and other bits and pieces. Drill a hole, put a gland on the back, run them all out, and get it done like that. So no time like the present, let's just put it in and see if it fits. Right, so that's going to sit just like that. I think that'll work. The bolt holes are there, so that's fine. Bolt holes are there. Got plenty of room. That thread for that one's going to be a bit of a bastard though, eh? One I struggled with last time. Well, you'll remember this saga. Oh shit. Well, you'll remember the saga about trying to put those bolts in, so now I'm going to have that saga again. So I'm going to go get the nuts and stuff, get it all prepared, otherwise I'm going to walk into a problem. I need to have it ready to be plugged in and going. I think it's looking alright. That still looks funky, but it is stuck in. So that's all good. Verify positive, negative, positive, negative. Positive, negative, yeah, it's all good. Alright, let's get it sorted out. Alright, let's try and get this one here. Where is it? Well, it's always going to be a struggle, this was, but anyway, we'll figure it out. Boom! I have the bolt. Ha ha ha! This one should be easier, hopefully. Hopefully. Unless I drop it and then it's a fucking nightmare. It's on! Fuck, that was hot work. Wind on there, you bastard. Doesn't want to wind on there. Come on. Play the game. No, I think I'll get a 10mm socket. It might be easier to help me wind it on. Oh, come on. Don't play silly buggers. Let's get on there. There we go. Like a boss. Okay. that's on. It's not a lock nut. The other side might not be so easy to get on. Oh, maybe. There we go. That's up. Oh, it's going nowhere. It's solid as shit. A little bit of movement down here, but I couldn't do much about that unless I put another bolt in, but I'm not going to do that. I might stick a self-tapper. There's an aluminium frame here. I might just put a little self-tapper straight into there to hold that, just so there's no little bit of a rattle there. So, maybe not. We'll see. Anyway, it's in. What do you reckon? I think that looks pretty smart. This light's always shit in here because of the sun coming on this angle, eh? I think that looks pretty smart. To me, that's not a bad homemade job. I'll run through pricing and stuff on this too, because I think that's important. The reason why I went this way is strictly economics, and also I enjoy doing it versus the price of like the Explorer from, you know, the pre-made boxes and things. To me, this just made more sense. Plus it gives me functionality, and I can upgrade and downgrade as I need to, and pretty much if I build it and it breaks, it's my fault. So I don't have to worry about dumb warranties with people that don't care about you. So anyway, that's in there. The next phase is obviously going to be putting the glands up here. So I'm going to cut the gland hole up here, making sure that I'm not interfering with this. So I need to do something in this area here, like another gland like that one there. That looks a bit fucked up actually. Anyway, I'll put another gland in because I'm going to have to run 2 cables through. So big fat cable gland, bang that through, seal it up. I'll put some seal in there too because I don't like the look of that. That looks a bit shizen. I wonder if that was actually backwards. Yeah, I think that was backwards. It should have gone the other way with the rubbers on the outside. But anyway, it's not here nor there. We'll do that. We'll get that gland put on. If you can see that at all, I don't know. But anyway, there's the gland up in there. So I'll try and cover that light. There's the gland, so I'm going to do the same thing above it. We should be all good. Then I can run my auto cable to the front. We've got a bit of an idea now here of how this is going to work. So that's going to be sweet. Yeah, let's get it done. Alright, so I'm just working out now before I go and buy cables and shit where I'm going to put this off switch. I'm thinking maybe up here is an emergency switch off. Could be a bit awkward now because I don't have anywhere to put it. Or up here might even be better, where I can reach in and just shut it down. Obviously if the car's on fire and everything's screwed up, I'm definitely not going to be reaching in. It's just going to be see you later car. So it's only so if I need to turn the power, de-energize. So I'm thinking I can reach there above the fridge and just turn that off. So that might be a safe location, and it can screw into this timber here without a problem. I'll keep looking at that and having a bit of a play. Positive to this, from this to positive. So I reckon that might work somewhere up, even up there. I'll measure the fridge height and see if I could. I'll measure the fridge height and see if I could reach up there. If I can, just reach up and get it. Why not? That'd be sweet.
Oh dear lordy lord. What about?
We're just deciding where we're going to put this because we have to be able to reach it.
Well, if you're going to put the hingey thing on there, you could put it in there somewhere.
Can't talk about that.
Well,
that's private.
Oh. But you could put it in there somewhere because you'll have your little thing, right? So you could stick it anywhere on that board.
Yeah, I potentially could. I could potentially.
Well, because of
I get it. I get what you're saying. It's more about just shutting it down. So you reckon, nah, but then I have to run cables through this again, and it's really thick. It's really hard, and it's like a nightmare to run cables. See the thickness of it. You know, I could run it underneath here though, I guess, and bang it up into there. But it's going to look dumb for a start. But it's also not going to be functional. You need to have this in line. So if we have it somewhere up like that, it'll like that. The cable can run straight along and up into there, and then back out of there, back onto the jumper. And I can reach it if there's an emergency. We can shut it down if this thing's going fizzle fizzle. Hopefully not, but if there was. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
We do this often. We just deliberate shit. We do.
That's because,
and then I just do it anyway the way I want it.
Exactly.
But it's communication.
Oh, no.
This is how you have a healthy, long marriage, people. Communicate.
Oh, my God.
Yes, I am your God. That is true.
It's more about the fact that I like to think about it.
Well, think about it. I'm driving down the road to go pick up some cables and shit. You ever think about it and let me know. And when you get home, it'll be done. It'll be the same as your thought. Cool?
Good on you.
All right.
And you just do. I like to think and navigate the process.
Yep.
Are you expecting someone?
No, that's not for here. Oh, there goes that bloody phone again. All right.
I thought I'd jump on here while he's on the phone. Sometimes he likes to go bull at a gate, where I like to think and process it and the pros and cons of stuff. So when you're watching his videos, he just does. And then he realises after he's just done, oh, sometimes wife makes some good ideas. Should have listened to her in the first place. Shh. He doesn't know I'm recording this because he's on the phone. But yeah, he's a bit of a bull at the gate sometimes, as you're probably figuring that out. Anyway, I'll leave you on that note because some of us have got to go to work. So, ciao. Bye.
All right, let's get some stuff done here, eh? I'm just going to do a measure up for these negative and positive cables. So, the negative one I'm going to go first with, of course, but I want to see how this is going to work. It's a bit of a bastard with the way this is. Let's see if I put it over there, you might have a better view. It has to go from the top here, which has got a rubber thing on it, by the way. Oh, that's okay. I might be able to get this to play the game a little bit here. Like that. That will work okay. Yes, it's a bit curly, yes, it's a bit annoying, but that'll work. Alright, that'll work really well, I think. So I'll mark that. I have to do some alterations to it to cut it. I lost my felt pen. Is that all smudgy or is that just me? Let's try that. That might be better, or is it just my glasses? Yeah, it's better. So basically, I'll mark it. I've lost my felt pen, so use a normal pen. Rightly or wrongly, we'll give it a go. I'll try a nice curve down to the negative bus bar. Just so it runs smooth, you know what I mean? We don't want anything really too tight or ugly or yuck. So I'll get that done. So I'll cut this now and we'll get it sorted out. Get it put on, some heat shrink on the other end, heat shrink on this end. Final measure and hopefully we're good. Get this one here lined up to where I need it to be. I think I'm a bit long anyway, but that's okay. Nice and square. Pretty handy tool if you don't have one of these. Like a boss, just like that. So now I'll measure that up and see how that's actually going to fit on there, or it's going to be flat and fold straight over like that and come down onto it. So that should be not too tight and yeah, it looks a bit shit, but that'll be covered up. Put that on, I reckon that'll be pretty good. So I'll get that checked out. Almost a mistake there again. This is a 10mm size, it's going to go the other way. It's not going to go that way. This one's going to go that way and this one's going to curve. So I've got to use it with the 8mm for the battery. Did the 8mm size, not the 10mm size. So that was almost a problem, wasn't it? Yeah. Thinking. So that'll go down onto the smart shunt. That'll come up and over. Twist it on an angle, if I can get it to work right. Like so. Bang, onto the battery. That should be pretty good. Let's fit it. Let's see if it works. As I said, 10mm. 10mm is going to go onto there. And this one here has to be bent. A little bit different. 10mm on there and that on there. I reckon that'll be fine. It'll be nice and curvy. I'll shorten that up a fraction more. Will I? No, I won't. I'm going to leave it longer. I don't think it makes any difference to the actual outcome, but a little bit longer gives me that nice deep curve. I don't want it too tight, so we'll leave it like that. If I'm wrong, well, I'll have to cut it off, but well, let's just hope I'm right. So I'll grab my dagger, I'll cut this off and get these crimped up, get the heat shrink put on them. There's the negative right there. I've used all the positive actually. Should have some more in there, so that's okay. Get that done, put that on. We shall be home and hosed. But I'll mark it with my pen first, so I'll make sure I get all my angles correct once I've cut it down. Let's roll. So let's have a look here, shall we? Things down there. This one here. We'll go on like so. I actually want to energize this to test it, to make sure I've got everything right before I go any further. Hence why I'm doing this. That'll come down like that, straight onto there. So that'll be perfect. Alright, so I know that's going to work. So now I'm going to mark that there with my pen. If I can get my pen on there. Sweet, that works fine. Take that off, then I can crimp it. Well, not so tight. Sweet. Let's go crimp that. Crimp that with the marks I put on there, which is where it is. And we should be all good, hopefully. We'll crimp that down, get that out of the way. Let's go. So this one's 70, and on this particular set of gear, you've got to adjust it to get to the right space. So there we go, 70 there, 70 there. Boom. So that'll go there. And as I said last time, I do 3 crimps on these. One, 2, and 1 down the neck. 3. Now those are all crimped, they're all marked with 70 as well, as you can see, for the 70mm squared cable. Should be all good. Bit of heat shrink, and we won't know ourselves. Let's get that part done. Let's get this heat shrink going on. That happening, there we go. Nicely heat shrunk, the other end. Same thing. Real entertaining, isn't it? Alright, so heat shrink plenty. That should be sweet. So now I should be able to put that on. And then we'll do the positive with the switch on it. So roll on. Okay, let's get this back on here. Come on, you bugger, get on there. Doesn't want to play the game now, does it? Cool, that's on. And the next one comes out over and down like that. I get it. It's not quite as pretty as we would like, but it does work. It's not in the way either, which is a bonus. So that'll tighten up there, that'll tighten up there. So that'll work pretty well. The curvature of that cable, just strictly because where it's positioned, is, I think it's probably the safest option. Flat on the surface where it needs conduction. If that's a word, that'll be flat. It'll be nice against the wall there. It's not going to touch anything, not going to vibrate. That cable there is not going to be bothered by it, so that's good. Happy days, let's tighten it up. Gone through and connected the negative on, as you can see. It's got a nice curve in it. It's not going to be in anything's way, which is a bonus, and it's just going to be sitting there nicely. It's nicely tightened down. So now I'm going to go through to the positive. I'm still trying to work out finally where I'm putting this, but I'm thinking I am going to go somewhere up here where I can reach it real easy, just in case something falls out or arcs or whatever. We've got easy access to shut down the power from the battery. So I'll work that out now based on length of cable and other stuff I've got lying around, and get it sorted out. Overall, I want to energize it today, just so I can test the componentry here, test the inverter, make sure it works, make sure the wiring's set up right. I will probably make up an Anderson plug for the MPPT controllers and just throw a solar blanket out and just make sure it's all working and feeding into the system correctly. Maybe not today, but you know, I want to do it today, but I want to do everything now. And it doesn't generally work like that, so it always takes longer than I expect. But I'll roll through it, get it all sorted out, and see where we end up. I'm going to cut this down to fit my attachments to this. That's another 10mm. There, and I need another one. Do I have another one? Yes, I do. Great. I've got those, which is perfect. Couple by 10mm, which I'll be feeding on. So I'm going to set one of these up now. Not that I can read it. Output, input. Okay, cool. So we'll get that set up one, so I can feed it through. So we shall be good. I'll make one of these up, cut it, get it done, nice and easy, not too much stress. Figure out where I'm going to put it. Once I've got this in there, I'll cut the cable to length to where I'm going to go. I still haven't worked that part out yet, which I probably should do sooner rather than later, right? So I'm making up cables. While I'm deciding, I'll make up cables. I recommend you don't do it this way with the razor blades, because, you know, you'll probably cut yourself. There we go, look at that. Might need a bit more than that actually. Ooh, pretty close. I need a little bit more of that. I like to make sure the copper gets right to the end of the attachment. There we go. That'll work. One of these things too. You can buy these things here, the lugs. You can buy them flared or unflared. I recommend flared every time, especially when you're dealing with bigger cables. You try to get them in there, and you get strands that don't want to go in without the flare, like that right there. I've got one strand hanging out. Without the flare, it's bloody impossible to get in unless you've got a technique, which I've shown one, but this just makes it easy. So let's go in there now. Like a boss, see? All nice and good, nice and in there. There's one little piece sticking out the bottom there, which I will deal with independently. I'll cut him off, because I'm not going to bother taking it off for that. Every time there's noise, bloody trucks. So I'll cut that off with my snippers. That'll be gone. When I heat shrink it, you won't feel it anyway. I'll clamp that down and we'll get it underway. All good. Alright, so I've got my connection just here. I'm going to bolt this onto here as a rough guide. When I say rough guide, it's going to be my positioning factor, trying to make sure I got the cable right where I can not have it too stupidly sticking out like dog's balls. We don't really want that. I'd like it to be a little bit tidy. The small stuff at the end where it gets really stupid, eh? Right, that's tight. Let's go for a walk and see where we can sit this and see how this is going to function. That's fucking ugly. Anyway, let's go. Let's have a go. Let's go for a walk to the car. Walk with me, peeps. Walk with me. Let's go. Alright, a bit dark in here, I know. I hope you can see alright. I don't know if you can. Can you see? I just busted the leg of my stand. That's awesome. So this one here, I'm thinking it's going to go up here somewhere. It's stand in my bucket. That one there will come across the top, come across to the battery, just like that. So that'll be okay, I think. I don't know, I don't like it. I don't like that at all. I wonder if I can do something fancy here. I can hide it a bit, because it can go down the back a little bit. But even that's not going to work very well. No matter what I do here, this is going to look shit. Functional, but it will look shit. I don't want that. I definitely don't want that. But I need this to be somewhere. Oh shit, sorry about that. I need this to be somewhere where I can actually utilise it without it being a problem. Alright. Let me consider my options here. What did the wife say this morning? Maybe down here. Sure she said that. Somewhere in there where the cable can go in underneath. Like that, and then up along onto there. Well, that might work. That might work, Alright, back to the drawing board a little bit. Let's just have a... Ignore my fat bastardness, but I've made this up. And make it easier on myself. I'm going to screw that to a wall somewhere so I stop making decisions. Decision's going to be made as soon as I screwed it to the wall. Then I was going to attach the tails. So that is my plan. We're going to do that. So, happy days. Now I've forgotten which one was battery and which one wasn't. Output is the right hand side. Okay, so output, input. So output has the red tape. It's not going to stick. What a knob. Put it there instead. That'll work. Okay, cool. Output has red tape. Done. Let's roll. Initial executive decision made. It's going to be pretty solid up here. I've got a cabinet in front of it, so this will just be above it. That's solid as. It's not going nowhere, right? Cool. The right hand one is my battery feed. The left hand one is my power process to go to the other side. I can run this behind the cabinets. I shall put the, I think it's an 8mm up there on the back of the fuse on here, 8mm size. I'll cut that a bit shorter, make that work, and I'll put this one to the battery with the 8mm as well, and we should be ready to go. I get it, at the moment that's probably looking like it shouldn't be there, and it probably shouldn't be there, and it's bright red, which probably another reason why it shouldn't be there, but my cabinet's going to be sitting this high, and that's at the very back, and my thought process was right now is if I have a problem here, let's just say for whatever reason this starts to jump around and spark and a fire erupts or something, just something small fire, but you know what I mean, something's going on. Probably one of the last thing I'll do is put my hand in there to try and flick a switch, where I can come to this side of the canopy, reach up and just go click straight off. It's not in anyone's way, it's above cabinetry, it's not going to affect anything, and it's out of the way over there, but it also shuts down the battery feed, which I think is a winner. And obviously the solar feed will also have a shutdown, so I'll be able to go click click void. It'll be totally separated, and I think that's a good thing, especially with our plans of jumping around and doing crazy shit. So it's going to have to be safe, and this for me is probably the safest place for it. Please let me know what you think. If you think I'm right, say so. If you think I'm wrong, say so. Either way, it's a decision, it's been made, we're rolling on with it. So I've marked my cable out for the length, which is fine. I'm going to pin this cable along here to the wall, to the back, where it won't be seen, but it'll be nicely tight and pinned against the wall. And it's going to do a loop exactly like the black one down on top to the positive fuse. So that's going to be done, and that's what this marker's for. That's where I'm going to cut it off. Then I'm going to obviously take back my 15mm for my 8mm gadget, like that. So I'll just mark that now. take the shield back, crimp it on and see if we got it right. Let's have a go. Right, so I've got my cable now again, ready for action. Let me get my position set up. I'm pretty sure it's going to go like that. Yep, it'll go like that. So let's mark that with a pen. Cool. Grab my magic crimper, which we all know by now needs to have 3 crimps. Reach that in nice and tight. 1. Oh fuck. Right. I'm putting rubber on the floor of this canopy anyway, so please ignore the scratches I'm doing. I scratched pretty heavy the other day. I helped somebody move, sort of an emergency move, and it created a bit of a mischief in here, so the scratches are already there, so we just got to deal with it. Do a bit of heat shrink again. There we go. Let that cool down and we'll put it on. Obviously that's going to be pretty, that's going to be pinned to the wall, so it's going to look good just above the battery. I keep saying look good like it matters. It does matter to look good, but it's more about functionality as well. But I want it to also appeal to the eye. So this is going to go up and along, and it's going to connect right there. Just like that. I think all these nuts should have nylock nuts on them. I don't think they should just be normal. I don't know why they don't have nylock. If you know, tell me. I don't know why. But I would assume that nylock would be a much safer option for stop movement. Let's tuck down like that. That might look better. Anyone else's eyes died when they turned 50? My whole life I had pretty good vision. Now I'm blind as a bat. Alright, that one is connected, so we have positive from the switch, which is going to be nicely pinned on the wall there. I reckon that'll be pretty sweet actually. Pinned to the wall, look good. Now I'm going to have to run the one from the other one, the other side of the switch, right here, which will be much easier, straight to here. So pretty much I'm going to mark that out to where I need to go. I'll grab the other socket so I can do my pencil marks. We'll be good. So I've got my other one. Now this is going to go flat, which is good, but I want it to run nice and aligned into that one right there. Maybe even place it downhill to make it work better. Not that that matters, but that's going to be the blade there where I cut it off, and that's going to be where I cut it off the thing. Just there and just there. So that's the cut point. That's the rubber removal point. Let's do that. This one might be a bit more of a bastard to do because of the strictly because of the crimping being on the angle that it's on. This cutter has been a godsend. It was given to me by a mate of mine, Pete, which I've used all the time. Thanks, Pete. Shout out to you and Jet. Young Jet. Hello, Jet. How are you, buddy? He's my my mate's grandson lives down the road. He watches the channel, so good on you, Jet. Now, knife. I'll just cut this off. You don't need to see this stuff. I'll show you when it's cribbed. You've seen it before, and we'll get it ready to go on. Alright, so I've made up the cable tied it, heat shrunk it. I'm going to grab this piece just here, which is the positive feed for the little gadget. Run that down the back there. I'll cable tie that up, make that look pretty actually. You won't see that. So that is going on there, that is going on there, and this is going in here. Doesn't leave me a whole lot of space, eh? On the, oh, it's real painful. You don't expect them to give you more, but they really don't. Alright, so now, in general, we should have a pretty much a live system based on that information there. I should be able to flick the switch and this should be live and I can test it through the inverter. So one way to find out, let's flick the switch and find out. The moment of truth. On. Does nothing. Nope. Yep. There we go. We have it on. We have an inverter switch on. That's a bonus. So I'll grab something and plug it in and check this works, eh? We'll plug in the actually I'm going to grab the parts for the smart shunt, plug that in and see what it's doing, see what that does for us. Let's have a go. Bring the front over for a minute. Don't need that yet. Literally just this one here to see what the battery's up to. So I have to set the parameters of the smart shunt anyway. Oh, did I leave myself enough room to plug that in? Bloody hell, I hope so. Yeah, I do, I just can't see it. Get in there, bugger. There we go. I can run through there. Up here. So you can just run along there, inside that little box, which is where it's going to go. And it can just plug into here so we can see what's going on. Just like that. See what it's saying. Battery capacity. Okay, so let's work this out. Setup 200 amp hour, perfect. Select. Got that. Select, 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 select. Let's have a look here, see what it's doing. 13.31 volts and it's full. So that's good. Now this one here is a 12.8 volt, it says here. I've got some specs I'm going to go through to set this up with it through the actual system, but I want to get all of these things here all connected. Well, they're actually flashing already, so they'll probably work. If I set up a network for them, which I will be doing. If I go through the Victron Connect app, I've got a whole lot of Victron gear here though, so I've got to be a bit careful. Servo GX, other devices, here we go. Smart Chart, Smart Solar, 1030, no, this is where I have to shut down. This is all my Victron gear I've got currently running, all through. I've got a lot of Victron gear running in the caravan. So I'm going to need to 13.4, 13.3, so I imagine those ones are further away. Smart Solar 7515, that's going to be this one. 150, Smart Shunt Alright, I'm going to have to do this. I'll shut down the ones in the caravan because it's too close and I'm picking up everything. So I can't tell you what ones are here or what ones are over there. So I'll do that afterwards. I'll shut all the switches down in the van so it's clearly just the ones in here. And I'll get that done. But at the moment this tells me what's going on. So I'll leave that for the moment. We'll have a bit of a look here. -1 amp, so that's running the inverter. And obviously these are flashing a bit with no power coming in, so that's being fed. -15 watts. Don't know what that's all about. So it's 100%. Alright, there we go. So what I'm going to do is plug something in and test this inverter. I just want to test it to make sure there's no hot spots just by touching, feeling, nothing loose. So I'm going to grab the jug and just, well, a jug out of the caravan and plug it in and just see if it works. Let's give that a whirl. Alright, so the jug we use in the caravan is an 1100 watt jug. Most normal household jugs are like 22 to 2400 watts, which is way too much. Don't do that. So 1100 watt jug, nice and easy, collapsible, fits in the caravan, works for us, does 3 cups of coffee, which is perfect. So let's plug this in and just see how this will go. It's on. So we're not going to sit here and record while this heats up or doesn't. I just want to see what happens in here. I'm literally going to put my hands on the joins, just touch it gently, see if there's any hot spots. I don't think there will be, but I'll have a look. I do have a thermo on my phone, a thermo camera that I can actually look at the stuff and see if there's anything, but we'll have a look at that. But in the meantime, I'm going to go inside and fill coffee in this cup so I'm not wasting this jug boiling. I'll go get that done. Still boiling. Coffee ready. Have a bar while I'm waiting. Oh yeah, there we go. Boiled jug. So that worked a treat. I should have checked the amperage on that, shouldn't I? I was too busy pissing around. Let's turn that back on for a minute. See what it does. It's probably not going to let me now because it's already boiled. If I let that cool down a bit, I'll be able to then turn it back on and see how many amps it pulled out at that time. Anyway, I'm eating with you on camera. That's really rude. Apologies for that. I'll get off this and come back to you when I'm finished. And now I'm covering the screen when you're there. How bloody rude again. Apologies for that. I'll come back when I'm finished. So this jug does pull a fair bit of power. So what's that? 1000 watts or 1 kilowatt? $82 amps. So the jug does pull a fair bit of power out of it, but that's okay. It's an 1100 watt jug, but we know it works. Turn that off. Don't need it to boil again. So that's okay. That works pretty good. So now I'm going to tidy up over here and tidy up these wires up here. Get them tidied up. Put these rails back on to make them look pretty. And then I'm going to work out the front. Now the front's going to be a different video because each one of these doesn't feel like a long time for you, but it's actually a hell of a long time when you're doing the recording and spending the day doing this stuff. So I'm going to leave part 3 electrical fit out in the back here at this stage. So again, thanks for watching, very much appreciated. I'll tidy this up, put it all away, and pretty much work on how I'm going to put the face on and get the other stuff sorted out from there. So add also cables. I've got to go buy the cables. I haven't got them yet because I need to do measurements and things. I was getting a bit preemptive earlier on. But anyway, thanks for watching, very much appreciated. We'll catch up with you on the next one. If you've got any comments about what I've done or you think that I've done something wrong, please let me know. If you think I've done something right, also let me know. Some of the feedback I've had is quite constructive, and you do learn from everybody. So if you've got something and you know I've done it wrong, please yell out because I'm happy to learn because I'm not an expert, as I've said before. But anyway, enjoy yourselves, stay classy, and we'll catch you on a rerun. Cheers guys, bye.